Welcome into the Fantasy Incline Podcast. We're your hosts, Neco and Gino, and we have our first reoccurring guest on the show today. This is the second time Jett's been on, so hopefully you guys have met Jett. Thanks for coming on a second time.
Thanks for inviting me.
We're going to talk about the NFC North in our divisional series here today, and the NFC North is near and dear to us because we're in Lions country, as you can kind of tell.
Yes, sir.
The home division.
Yep, the home division. And so we are going to state our biases now. We are Lions fans. Jett's a Giants fan, but I'm
a Lions fan.
He's a Lions fan too, like kind of like me and the Pats. But our biases might not, tell you to go and draft all these Lions because, it's the Lions. It's the same old Lions. So we'll get right into it. We won't start with the Lions because we'll go in alphabetical order again. Today, the Chicago Bears will be the starting team, and we'll go quarterback like normal to running back, wide receivers, and tight ends. So in the QB room for Chicago, Mitch Trubisky and Big Dick Nick Foles.
So can I ask who's starting? Is it Trubisky starting out at first, or did they already announce Foles?
I know who's starting. A garbage can.
Yep.
They're gonna put him under center.
Yeah.
I'm looking at him like he's being serious for a second.
This is
have him take the snaps.
the most interesting QB room in the division, maybe in the league. Not very interesting, but you know what I'm getting at. Because I think it's going to be an open battle.
Yeah.
If it was me, I would put Nick Foles there.
Yeah, me too, definitely.
Past Super Bowl champion, Gino.
Yeah, I'd probably put Nick Foles there too.
I just think Mitch Trubisky's terrible. I don't like the guy.
Wrong pick.
I think he was I thought he was a bust coming in the league. I haven't liked him. So if it was me, I'd put Nick Foles there.
Yeah, I definitely put Nick Foles there. Obviously,
It's
kind of
really
broke my heart in the Super Bowl, but that was clutch.
Yeah,
that was clutch as hell. He's not the greatest quarterback ever.
No,
and
things happen.
For fantasy, I wouldn't even.
I wouldn't even touch
any
these
of
guys.
The quarterbacks in Chicago.
Yeah, I was about to say, because another question you got to ask too is, how is their offense going to perform this year? Like, do you guys believe in their offense or what?
As a whole, no.
No, like I could see them struggling to get reaching the 21 mark, and on a good offense, you want a good amount of distribution, So
I mean, let's be brutally honest here. Chicago, they rely on their defense a lot.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they've got to win football games. They got to just rely on their defense and hope their offense can score 14 points.
Yeah, their number one target and on the offense is probably Allen Robinson. Is he that good? I could see him being a good wide receiver too.
I mean, you look at this from a fantasy perspective,
or help at being a wide receiver one, but there's not a lot of help that I see.
If you look at Allen Robinson from fantasy perspective, he's a number one on a team. So most number ones are going to produce pretty good.
Yeah,
I would say Allen Robinson and one of the quarterbacks. I would assume that's who they're going to be their go-to guy.
Yeah, Allen Robinson is the only guy I'm really liking here.
For his ADP, Anthony Miller as a wide receiver 2 for the team, I think would be a nice pickup. He's going pretty late
for ADP. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Allen Robinson might not be the best guy for ADP, but who knows? Everyone might see the little CHI next to his name and think, "Oh my God, this guy plays for Chicago. I'm not drafting him. He might slip down 3 rounds."
You might get a steal out of Allen Robinson. You never know.
Tariq Cohen, David Montgomery. See, David Montgomery for me, I think they'll do okay this year, even though I have no expectation for Chicago as a team at all. I think David Montgomery actually gets some workload, some fantasy points.
I drafted David Montgomery last year. I was kind of high on him as a rookie, and I think I started him 2 weeks. And I think I started him the right weeks. His best 2 weeks, I think, were the weeks I started him because they were playing a bad defense. But I'm staying away from him this year. Probably even Tariq Cohen, to be honest with you. He's just not the type of guy I want on my team.
Tariq Cohen, especially if you are not in the PPR league, you do not want to draft Tariq Cohen.
Yeah, if you're not in PPR, just stay away from Tariq Cohen.
He should not be on draft boards at all.
Yeah, Montgomery to me, just a floor guy, not too much of a guy who's gonna do more than that. So,
tight ends: Jimmy Graham and Cole Kmet.
Cole Kmet, the rookie. Where's he from? You know?
Notre Dame.
Yes,
yeah,
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
Yep.
Good looks.
To hell.
Jimmy Graham. We know his career. Pretty good tight end. I mean, he's definitely on the downside of his career.
Yeah, he was dropping a couple passes.
He hasn't been the same since he's left New Orleans. So I think that was just kind of a Drew Brees guy for him.
Yeah.
Cole Kmet, I think he's going to be the starter. Probably going to expect to do big things in this offense. Just how we just talked about the receivers. They're not very good. So hopefully Cole Kmet can bring this offense up.
Yeah, so really Bears going to stay away.
Mostly, yeah.
Mostly.
Unless someone drops big,
ADP just drops pretty low, but definitely not reaching.
All right, to the hometown favorite or the hometown non-favorite, however you look at it, the Detroit Lions.
Yes, sir. Starting off with Matthew Stafford. All right, I'll start off with Matthew Stafford.
You said it. I'll start off with. Well, you said start off with Matthew Stafford, and I figured just because you're about to ride Matthew Stafford's dick right now, that you'd want to talk.
Just start the riding though.
You know, he's probably being drafted around like the 12th or the 14th quarterback, and I definitely see him putting up top 10 or more fantasy points this year, just because his weapons are extremely deadly this year. Tight end,
top 5 in the league.
Tight end, wide receiver, running back. You got
it's all there.
Room in the running back. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So,
I mean,
how do you go wrong? The offensive line has improved. He was putting up MVP statistics. Until he got hurt last year.
I mean, obviously we know how the MVP worked out. Lamar and Russell Wilson both would have been ahead of him at the end of the season. But
probably
before Stafford got injured, I mean, that guy was probably the hottest quarterback in the league.
Yeah,
just behind Lamar and Mahomes. You know.
No, and still nobody was really talking about him too
because just the whole country as a whole, they just don't talk about Detroit Lions.
Yeah,
unless it's bad, you know.
Yeah, so even though I make fun of Neco for dick riding like the entire Detroit Lions, I do think that Matthew Stafford is an insane value this year.
Yeah,
especially where he's being drafted. No one's even looking at this guy, and this is an elite tier quarterback. He's not. Once again, he's not gonna be the guy that you're gonna. Oh, it's Pat Mahomes. He could go and score 40 points easily in a game. He's not going to be that type of guy, but he's going to be the type of guy that's, 25 points here, 30 points there, 20 points here.
Because there's going to be games that he has to win himself, Yeah.
Right.
That's just the quarterback he's been throughout his whole entire career.
Like Matthew Stafford, he's going to be that guy, like he's going to go later than probably half of the top. He's probably going to go like last in the top 10 or so. Matthew Stafford's going to be that guy to win you a fantasy football game.
Yep, for sure.
I don't necessarily view him. He's not going to lose you a game. I mean, he really hasn't had a game where he's thrown a lot of picks to get negative points or not produce a lot. He's going to produce consistently every week.
And I will say, second year too with Darren Bevel, I thought they connected very well first year.
Yep.
And he doesn't have that Jim Bob Cooter who's just going to give him shitty ass plays. You know what I'm saying? So,
if you draft any of the Lions, though, just keep in mind, if you don't, live around the area where you get local television, you probably won't see them play at all. They don't have any primetime games at all.
That's crazy.
They have a Thanksgiving Day game, which you'll likely be able to see, but they're not going to be on national television but once this year probably. So keep that in mind. Yeah. We'll go on to running backs. Kerryon Johnson, DeAndre Swift, Bo Scarborough. I like this for the Lions. The DeAndre Swift pick, I like for the Lions. I like this. This really helps the Lions. This was an absolute dump for fantasy. This was all fantasy owners around the country were like, "Oh my God, you've got to be kidding me!" Another committee approach.
Yeah. So, you can go.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, Kerryon Johnson isn't bad. He's injury prone, but he's not bad.
He's injury prone, but yeah, he's pretty good.
You're right. He's going to get injured. We know he's going to get injured.
We don't know that.
But
We
you're
don't
right.
know
You're
that.
right. You're right for correcting me because I believe DeAndre Swift is going to be the number one, and he hasn't beat Kerryon yet, but he will be the number one. He's a 3-down back. Kerryon Johnson, you're right. He probably won't get injured because he's not going to have much workload. DeAndre Swift's going to carry the workload. Kerryon Johnson's going to come in on those passing downs or
I think more the rundowns. I think that's what they kind of took Swift for.
Yeah, that's
he's
true.
Gonna. There's no more McKissick coming in. There's none of that.
I really feel this is like a. I also think Swift gets a starting job. I don't know if it's right away, but once Swift is finally in, the starting role, he's the RB1.
Yeah.
I still think it's like 60-40.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that's what's scary. It's until someone gets hurt, it's gonna be a strong like 50-50 pull.
Yeah, I would. I mean, I'm not saying I would stay away from Detroit running backs, but I kind of am.
Exactly,
until somebody gets hurt.
And
I think Kerryon does end up getting hurt.
Yeah,
and which is unfortunate for Detroit. But I think if Kerryon goes down, DeAndre Swift is a starter every week in fantasy.
Yeah, well, maybe a lighter workload just keeps him healthy, but what I'm saying, they're just both really good now. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, if the lighter workload keeps Kerryon Johnson healthy, then none of these two guys will ever be in the elite tier of running backs in fantasy because they'll both be playing because they'll both be healthy, which is perfect for the Lions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
maybe
for fantasy
maybe a flex option at best.
Yeah, no, and you can definitely draft guys. I mean, how many workhorse backs that are getting like 100% of the load are there in the league? Like, not that many.
Right.
Those guys are going in the first round. So you're going to get maybe, if you have an early first round pick, you're going to get maybe one of those guys.
Yeah.
So, like, you're going to have to draft running backs that have a portion of the workload taken away from them. And so these might be one of the guys you want to draft.
Yep.
Wide receivers.
Kenny Galladay. You know how I feel about Kenny Galladay. I think he's just going to go even more crazy than he has been the last 2 years. Him and Stafford's just team chemistry with each other. It just keeps on growing. He's growing as a player.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you, Neco. I mean, again, call me crazy. I view Kenny Galladay as approaching that tier, maybe not quite like Michael Thomas, DeAndre Hopkins, and them guys, but he's approaching it. Like,
yeah,
he's high tier 2.
And it has that potential to be in that tier.
He's
one,
improved. He's improved every year.
Yep.
And he's gonna continue to improve.
Exactly.
I'm also high on Kenny Galladay. I really see. Here's the difference, though. Is I think we're gonna differ here. Don't know. I haven't heard what you have to say about Marvin Jones. I think Kenny Galladay boosts this year. And I really don't like Marvin Jones this year.
I don't like Marvin Jones either.
Yeah, and I think it is the year to be afraid of Marvin Jones because kind of the addition of Swift, he's going to be getting more volume in the offense. Hawkinson's second year, he's definitely getting more volume in the offense. Kenny Galladay getting better, he's just getting more volume, you know what I'm saying? Amendola signs, it's just going to be hard to see Jones getting a lot of reception as that team.
Here's where we differ again. You're very high on TJ Hawkinson. I'm not saying he's a bad player. When the Lions drafted him last year with the 8th overall, I was like, God, that's a bad pick. I'm not saying Hawkinson's a bad player because he's a good player, but
you can obviously overdraft.
yeah, if Hawkinson doesn't produce, in my opinion, if he doesn't produce like Kittle or Kelsey this year, like that was just another bad pick by
definitely. He definitely has.
He needs to produce like to the Kittle tier
because you don't draft a first rounder to.
You don't draft a
for 2 years.
Yeah, you don't draft a first rounder to not be a top 10 tight end in his first 2 years.
Yep.
And another thing with the Marvin Jones, we have Quintez Cephas, the rookie out of Wisconsin, down the depth chart. I think he works into a very high role in this Detroit offense.
Yeah,
I hope so.
I think Marvin Jones, I believe he's very close to getting his contract up this year, next year maybe. Yeah, Quintez Cephas is going to steal that role from Marvin Jones.
Yeah. I see Quintez Cephas as like a Anquan Bolden type of player, just getting them quick passes, strong hands.
Yeah.
So we'll have to talk about that to our friend Ryan. Big Wisconsin man. He probably knows all about him. We already kind of touched on him, but the tight end room is TJ Hawkinson and Jesse James.
And Isaac Nauta.
And Isaac Nauta.
Who was our
got pretty nice.
Isaac Nauta played fullback last year, but we get Nick Bawden back. So
yeah. TJ Hawkinson. He's kind of like the known, like, I feel like sleeper tight end.
You could view him as a sleeper if he can produce. Jesse James, stay away from him.
Yeah, Jesse James, stay away from him. TJ Hawkinson, if you're in like a 10 team, you might see him go off the draft board. If you're in a 12 team, if you're in a deeper league, like a 12 team with a fairly large roster, like a close to 20-man roster, then I could definitely see taking TJ Hawkinson closer to the end.
I would snag that guy. I'm personally not in a dynasty league, but that guys, I view him as a great tight end for a dynasty league.
We are starting a dynasty league this year, and we're doing an auction. The preliminary draft for all of the guys is going to be an auction. I am very, very interested to see how much TJ Hawkinson goes for.
Yeah.
In the auction.
So, how about their line? Kind of want to ask you guys about that. How do you think it's going to be performing this year?
You as the Lions fan, you tell us how you feel, and I'll respond to what you say.
I just look at it like this: Frank Ragnow, Taylor Decker, two guys that have just been growing in our offense, getting better each year. You know what I'm saying? We had a problem at right tackle, Wagner. We traded him out for a guy who's been behind two star tackles, filled in their position, and he's been playing pretty well out in Philadelphia.
Yeah, he was part of like one of the best offensive lines in the country.
And he just filled right in, you know what I'm saying? Now, I don't know if that comes with just a straight elite.
I mean, that Philly offense is pretty elite, but I think Vitek is going to be
and
pretty
really
good.
And I kind of look at it like this too. You really need him to be a big impact in the run game, and that's exactly what he is.
Yeah,
in the past,
sure.
It's Stafford. He throws with his right. You know what I'm saying? So he's gonna be seeing like, okay, there's pressure coming. I'm gonna be able to move instead of being on his blind side. You know, so he can be a little bit iffy in the pass game and then really good in the run game.
Hey, and we know Stafford's mobile too.
Yeah, he kind of is. He's a very underrated guy.
He actually is, and that's the funny part about it, because he'll truck someone.
Yeah, exactly.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, he'll juke somebody. He'll make some quick moves.
If you don't watch the Lions religiously, you go right now, pause the video, look up Matthew Stafford trucking someone, and then come back and listen to the rest of this.
Tennessee. No, but then they added Jonah Jackson from Ohio State. I mean, he was in his 5th year. He's pretty much NFL ready, so I think he's going to be a right guard. And then it's really just a question, who's the left guard? And we have kind of a lot of good decisions who it could be.
Kenny Wiggins, Joe Dahl.
Joe Dahl.
Kenny Wiggins, Joe Dahl.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Dahl
Frank
too.
Ragnow. All three of those guys can work into all three interior line spots.
And
Frank Ragnow has the center spot locked. I mean, that's his.
Yeah, and then they drafted Logan Stenberg, who was just
out of Kentucky.
Who was just everybody was saying that's one of the best, like, fun highlights that you could ever watch on the offensive line. He's just a bully.
He could work into the right guard spot over Jonah Jackson.
That's what I'm saying. There's just like decisions that, and okay decisions. You know what I'm saying? Not nothing's gonna be like a dump. Like they say, Joe Dahl is just a maniac in the weight room. Like. And he was kind of he wasn't super high getting drafted in the NFL and everything, so he worked his way up, made himself good. So,
all right, Neco, have you gotten your fix of Lions talking?
Yes, sir, but it's not done yet, though. It's not done yet, though.
All right, yeah, we will probably have another bombshell dropped later in the show. We'll move on to the Green Bay Packers out in the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. Aaron Rodgers, one of the greatest quarterbacks probably of all time.
Yeah.
Up there, close to it. On, I guess, his declining years, his older years, how does he do?
See, it's just crazy. It's not really him declining with his skill. Like, I still feel like he has a skill.
Yeah.
He just doesn't have the team chemistry anymore.
No, he don't have the team chemistry.
Would you guys agree with that? You know, at least with the head coach, they definitely don't see eye to eye.
Well,
you know that.
Thing is, he's only 2 years younger than the head coach.
Yeah,
and that can cause a problem, which is what I'm going to get into. Is Aaron Rodgers don't have the weapons around him. I mean,
and that's a big thing too.
They had the 30th pick. They traded up and they drafted Jordan Love. Like,
they could have drafted a weapon.
You can't do that to Aaron Rodgers.
But listen to this though too. 2nd round. could have still got a pretty like low end but high tier wide receiver that was still in the draft.
Yeah.
And
they take a running back.
Dylan,
Yep.
AJ Dillon.
When they already have Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones.
But-
Free
and
Aaron
Nolan.
Jones. God.
See, and again, I think AJ Dillon, Aaron Jones not a contract. This guy's gonna want to get paid, and Green Bay's not gonna pay him. That's why they drafted AJ.
Yeah,
Dillon.
exactly. Which is
AJ
they're
Dillon's a
they're
good
a really
running back.
smart organization, to be
Yeah.
honest. They're doing everything perfectly right. Getting their special guys early, their skill players early, and then working from there.
You want me to go?
Go ahead.
Like you were saying about Detroit, like when they drafted Swift, like, oh my God, another committee. Like Green Bay was already a running back committee with Jamal Adams and Aaron Jones.
Jamal Williams.
Or Jamal Williams, yeah, my bad. And then you add AJ Dillon to this. That's 3 very fantasy relevant running backs.
And that's kind of forcing Aaron Jones' ADP to drop.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
For sure.
And that's actually like, the more this goes on, the more of a good thing it's gonna be.
Yeah, because you could steal this guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Last year, Aaron Jones led the league in rushing touchdowns.
Which
that dude
probably
is
won't
a
happen again.
Monster.
But
But he's getting so many carries taken away. I don't know. This is an absolutely awful spot for fantasy owners because Aaron Jones, without AJ Dillon or Jamal Williams in the running back room, would be going easily late first round, early second round.
Yeah, he's up
Easily.
without those two in the. He
Dude,
could go up in that first tier of running backs.
yeah, he would probably be in the top 5, top 10,
Yeah.
top 7 running
Yeah.
back. Honestly,
If AJ Dillon and Jamal Williams were to somehow out of an absolute miracle get struck by lightning or something like that, I'm not saying I want that to happen.
training camp, some guy comes out with a crowbar, just bashes their
Or
ankles.
do one of the Tanya Harding type things, take a knee out. If there's no one behind Aaron Jones, I'm drafting him over Dalvin Cook for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh, are you kidding me? You know how I like my safety players too in my early rounds.
All right, to the wide receivers. One of the best wide receivers in the league, Devontae Adams.
Tier 1, elite tier.
Yeah, Devontae Adams, great wide receiver to have. Definitely pairing up with like a late round running back. I would feel comfortable having Devontae Adams, but there's no other wide receivers there.
Well,
to take away.
not necessarily.
Not
I
Even though
like,
it doesn't seem like it's the biggest problem for Adams because he still gets his.
yeah, he's gonna get his touches because he's the number 1. That's
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers' boy right there. I like Marquez Valdez-Scantling. I think we talked about this last week when I was on last time. With I forgot what team it was exactly, but anyways, what I'm getting at is if you tell me I can get Devontae Adams here or Marquez Valdez-Scantling here, like in a better round, you know what I'm talking about? Remember?
Yep.
I think I would take Marquez Valdez-Scantling because
It's the points. It's
Yeah.
the points per draft position.
yeah, where you can get the guy.
Where
at.
you can get the guy. If you're getting less physical points by drafting MVS over drafting Devontae Adams, obviously Devontae Adams can get more physical, like a total amount of points than MVS. But you took MVS so late that his points per position you draft him in is much better than Devontae Adams, then you'd rather have MVS.
Yeah, because I'm high on running backs. I'll take 4 straight running backs, and like, man, it sucks I can't get Devontae Adams, but if I can get MVS for a steal that much later, I'm drafting that guy, and I'll probably start him because he's the number 2. I mean, Devontae Adams is going to be on the number 1 corner, so if MVS can get some open receptions, I think he can get some very valuable touchdowns.
Also in the wide receiver room, Alan Lazard, Devin Funchess, go blue, and Equanimous St. Brown. I don't think there's really much to go around for
No.
all of those 3 guys.
No, for all of them for me.
I'd definitely stay away from just about all those guys. Unless, like, if Devontae Adams gets hurt,
like he did last year.
like he did last year, there is definitely
Yeah, that is
something to
true.
be said for both Alan Lazard and Devin Funchess.
Mm-hmm.
Even, I mean, you could kind of throw Jake Coomer in there.
A little bit,
A
yeah.
little bit.
Tight end room, Mercedes Lewis. That's an old name.
I mean, they got rid of Jimmy Graham. That was their number 1. Mercedes Lewis.
Didn't they pick one up in the 3rd round or something?
Jordan Jones.
Yeah, Jordan
Oh yeah,
Jones.
there he is.
I would just stay away from Mercedes Lewis, in my opinion.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, tight ends I'm not touching. You kidding me? There's too many good tight ends to even touch any of these guys. So.
Yeah.
All right. last team, the Minnesota Vikings in Minneapolis. Kirk Cousins in the quarterback room.
So you know how Vikings work. They're a definite run first team, and they might on one drive on like one, I don't know, from the first to 3 downs, they might pass like once. You know what I'm saying? Each time. So he's not passing it too much. I'm not too high on Kirk Cousins. I would probably stay away from him. I don't even think he's that great of a QB, to be honest.
I mean, I started him a couple times last year in one of my leagues. I'm not very high on him. I mean, he lost a weapon in Stephon Diggs, which I drafted last year, and I really wish I didn't.
Yeah, literally.
That was a shame that he didn't produce. They picked up Justin Jefferson, my boy from LSU. He's going to produce. I think he's going to have more product in that Minnesota role than Stephon Diggs did. So I think that's a good replacement for him.
Probably one of the best wide receivers
in the draft class
for the rookies. This year.
I think the wide receivers definitely help Kirk Cousins out here, because I'm not really high on Kirk Cousins either. Unless you're in a 2-quarterback league, I'd kind of stay away from him completely. But wide receiver wise, I do think Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson both get fantasy relevant points, production. And I definitely think you should be looking at them to take around their ADP. I don't necessarily think you should be reaching for either Thielen or Jefferson, but around their ADP, and if you can get them below their ADP, that's a steal.
Yeah.
Running backs, this is actually, besides, the elephant in the room, Dalvin Cook, who's probably the size of an actual elephant. This is a crowded running back room.
Yeah, crowded.
With Alexander Mattison, Michael Boone, and Amir Abdullah. I mean, those are 3 viable replacements for this guy if he does get hurt. So do you see them putting like those guys in to try and keep Dalvin healthy?
I think they do.
At least Madison.
Yeah.
At least Madison.
Madison definitely over Boone over Abdullah, but like I'm just saying them as a whole. Anyone but Dalvin Cook are they going to throw in there?
Yeah,
to possibly take away from.
They
Dalvin
will
Cooks.
for sure. Like I feel like if they're in a late game, if they're winning a pretty big game, Dalvin Cook's just going to sit. They're going to play Madison and Boone. Again, if you're high on Dalvin Cook, reach for Alexander Madison.
Yeah.
And if Dalvin Cook goes down and you have Alexander Madison, you better pick up Mike Boone.
Yep.
Because it's going to be the same production. Well, not obviously the same, because Dalvin Cook's that much better, but I mean, this is a running offense.
Kind of split.
Yeah, it's going to be the same split. Yeah.
All right, we already kind of talked about the wide receivers, so we'll go to the tight ends, and we've got Kyle Rudolph, the resident tight end in Minnesota. Irv Smith Jr. behind him.
Push off Rudolph.
But is there any chance you'll take Kyle Rudolph in fantasy this year?
If it was me, I would.
I'm waiting late as hell.
Late as hell. Me personally, I know, again, this sounds crazy. I say this a lot, but I would take Irv Smith over Kyle Rudolph. I just think.
Wow.
I just feel like he's given Minnesota's. They're gonna work Irv Smith in, and then Kyle Rudolph he's just gonna go. They're just not gonna cut him, but
yeah, they're not gonna pay him.
I mean, he's getting old. Yeah, you're right. They're not gonna pay him. Irv Smith. Look for him. Look for him in the future. Another guy like TJ Hawkinson snagging a dynasty league, because Kyle Rudolph's old. He's gonna retire soon. Irv Smith is. I mean, Minnesota usually has pretty good tight ends. So.
All right. That does it for the NFC North. We'll say what's the division, and this might be where the bombshell is dropped. So we'll start with the bombshell.
Exactly.
I don't even know what he's gonna say, but Neco, how does the division end after week 17?
Yeah, I got Lions number 1. Like I know
there's the bombshell.
I know everybody's gonna say I'm
your
crazy.
Ears just blew up. I bet you.
It makes too much sense, but nobody just wants to say it. You know what I'm saying? People are just be like, no, it just can't happen. You know what I'm saying? But I think this is definitely the year. you see Packers are going downhill right now, which they still have some pretty good talent there, which still gonna keep them keep getting them wins, which I got them at 2. And then Vikings, they lost their number 1 receiver. There's drama going on with their running back, and they don't even have the strongest offensive line. I just don't think they can do it. I don't think their quarterback's elite. Defense, they've kind of lost some people, and then that's why I got them at 3 and 4. The Bears, I mean,
I think all 3 of us can agree Chicago is 4.
I think about 99% of the country can agree that Chicago is 4, and that 1% is Chicago.
Yeah, that's what mine is. I got Detroit at 1.
Who do you have it to?
Green Bay.
Green Bay.
Yep. Vikings 3.
I mean, this is a tough division. It's one of the toughest divisions in the league. I would have to say I kind of agree with you. I might move again. That 1, 2, 3, Detroit, Green Bay, Minnesota. All those could be. Yeah. Any one of those teams could be number 1.
Yeah, those are interchangeable.
I mean, like we said, Chicago's 4 for sure. If it was me, I'd go with Green Bay or Minnesota, and then Detroit or the other one for second, and then the third one with whatever one you feel would be left out.
Yeah.
Like this is one of the toughest divisions in the league.
This is definitely a really tough division to project. I think the Lions. This one, I think the Lions actually make the playoffs. I think the Packers win this division. I think the Vikings come in 3rd, and the Lions make the playoffs in 2nd. Probably as like a 7 seed. Probably they'll have to go and play whatever the 2 seed in the NFC is. They probably have to go to like Dallas or something to play there in a playoff game and probably lose. But that's my take on the division. Packers will probably get like a 4 seed, 3 or 4 seed.
Probably Russ will probably help them win like 2 or 3 games too.
So
I
guaranteed.
I guess you're right. I guess you're right.
I've already factored that in.
Yeah.
I'm thinking the refs are giving them about 4 games.
Yeah.
So like you give me a projection of Green Bay's record at the end of the season, and then take 4 off of the losses and put them on the wins.
Yeah. Cheating bastards.
All right, we'll go into the next segment, and this one should be a really fun one actually. We're going to do a fill in the blank segment. So I'm gonna ask these two here a fill in the blank question, where kind of like we writing out those mad libs, and you got like the little blank spot there, try and make them sound right. This is what we're gonna do, but with fantasy football. And so we'll start over with Neco.
Yes, sir.
The highest floor rookie is blank. And by highest floor, we're saying the guy who can't really bust, who has the least potential to be a bust.
In my opinion, I think it's Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Kansas City knew what they were doing, investing a first-round draft pick in him. He ran the same exact offense that he did in LSU and performed very well. So I don't see why that doesn't happen in Kansas City.
Yeah,
I think the only thing that Williams digs into is some of the passing game. I don't think he touches the running game because he's never been really good the past year or two.
I actually think Damian Williams is terrible, but
yeah, you know what I'm saying?
I don't think
he's just been a star at the passing game. That's the only reason why he's been relevant.
Well, yeah, it's because Kansas City's offense is great in the passing game. It doesn't matter who's in the backfield. I'll throw Neco in the backfield. See what he can do.
I don't think Clyde Edwards-Helaire steals the starting spot from Williams right away. But I do feel like he will start very quick. Like week 2, week 3.
Once he gets his shot, I think it's over.
It's over. Yeah. Like Damian Williams, like get out. You're out of town.
Yeah, we don't even need you.
I mean, you look at what he did in college. LSU's offense is very similar to KC.
Yeah, all those RPOs are just going to be going to Clyde.
Andy Reid knows what he's doing.
Yep.
I mean, you look at what
smart
when Andy Reid was in Philly, he had Brian Westbrook, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire is very comparable to Westbrook, and he said that he's a better version of him. So I would think Andy Reid knows what he's doing. He's going to work in Clyde Edwards-Helaire just like he did with Brian Westbrook in Philly.
And yeah, and you see Kansas City too. Like there's some holes around Kansas City, and they chose to fix one that wasn't even the biggest hole.
Right, I thought they were going defense.
Exactly. That's why for me they're thinking super high of this running back. They could have picked any running back, and they picked him.
Yeah.
All right. Next question to Jett. I know it's the off season, but I'm buying the hype around blank.
I'm on the Kyler Murray hype train. I'm very high on this kid going into. I mean, he won Rookie of the Year. You look at
he learned super fast.
Yeah, learns super fast. I mean, it's again, call me crazy. I'm comparing this. No, I'm not comparing him to Lamar, but you look what Lamar did his rookie year. Kyler Murray did very similar things.
And he did better, obviously, his rookie year compared to Lamar.
I think Kyler Murray, dark horse MVP candidate. Yes, no.
Yeah, I mean, could be for sure.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad call at all. He did so well with not even that great of an offensive line too. Now you just add not too many offensive linemen, but a more of a star wide receiver now.
I mean, they got DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And
debatably the best wide receiver in the league.
Christian Kirk had a very fabulous rookie season.
Yep, he still has the old man Larry Fitz.
Old man legs.
The vertical threat Andy Isabella.
Yeah.
I'm not off the top of my head. I don't know who their tight ends are, but
they got Drake too. They got Kenyon Drake.
Yeah,
was perfect with all those screens that they're about to be throwing him.
Yeah,
that's why he's gonna be.
He came in, stole the job from David Johnson.
Yep.
They traded David Johnson
to
Houston. They traded David Johnson to Houston. They get DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, I would trade David Johnson for DeAndre Hopkins with some draft capital in there any day.
Yep. Yeah.
All right. Next fill in the blank. For Neco, the highest pick I'll draft a tight end at is blank.
Okay, so I'll give one name. The highest I'll draft Travis Kelce. About maybe like the beginning of third round. I would probably jump on him.
His ADP is high.
Yeah, I know. It's going like middle, so I probably wouldn't go where his ADP is, but I'm not too far.
So if Kelce goes, say every tight end, like this is obviously some crazy situation, but we're talking averages here. Say every single tight end in the draft that you are drafting in goes at exactly their ADP. So if you wouldn't draft Travis Kelce before or at his ADP, then that is not where you would draft the tight end at. So where would you draft that first tight end at?
If it's not Kelce, then I would probably be drafting around like the 10th round, 11th round for my first tight end,
which is highly safe.
Yeah. Well, you're still getting all those.
Yeah, because you go Kelce, Kittle, Ertz, Mark Andrews, and then like that's the elite.
That's the elite, but the second tier this year isn't even that bad.
Right. Or the third. You got players who can still boom like Noah Fant and TJ Hawkinson that are in like the third tier. You know.
Yeah, I feel very
Jared
safe.
Cook probably in the tier 2.
Yeah, very safe drafting 10th round tight end.
You know.
I mean, guys like Hayden Hurst too. And
yep.
I mean, Jimmy Graham even.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, Hayden Hurst being in
tight end's
in Atlanta now.
Not a hole this year.
Austin Hooper's with Cleveland.
But the thing is, you're still with drafting Kelce, you're still getting that guy who's on an insane offense and who's still gonna be scoring better than probably any other tight end each week, and that's good to have a positional advantage. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
The way I view it is, me personally, I'm going probably 4 running backs off rip, and then I'm going to snag my receiver, maybe 2 of them, and then I might go another running back. If the tight end's there, I might snag a tight end. You know, you never know. So, that's already 6-7 rounds in,
right?
So,
and the highest you'll draft a tight end doesn't mean that I would definitely draft like Travis Kelce if he fell to the late third round. Well, the likeliness of Kelce falling to the late third round is not very likely, so that's probably not as high. Like,
right?
Okay, so say Kelce doesn't drop to the late third round, like he probably won't. Then the highest you'll draft a tight end, you're not going to draft the next tight end at the late third round. You're going to wait for the next tight end. So I'm kind of in the same boat as you guys. That's why I don't think I'll draft that tight end that early at their ADP. So I would wait to draft my highest tight end into like round 7s and 8.
Yeah.
Something like that. All right. To Jett now, our fourth question. It is completely blank to draft Joe Mixon in the top 15.
I would give it I would say risky here.
Completely risky to draft Joe Mixon in the top 15. I think that's about right.
Yeah,
I mean,
how many
2 years ago he produced pretty well. Last year he really didn't get hot till I wouldn't even call it hot. He didn't start going till really the second half of the season. I would say, yeah, I would even stay away from him unless he got to like 25, 30, which is even unlikely for that.
I wouldn't stay too away from him, but I just feel like for a top 15 guy, he's too inconsistent of a player, especially in that offense.
Yeah,
Joe Burrow still needs to get used to everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I could find a better running back, like
a safer running back.
Yeah, safer, like Clyde Edwards-Helaire
is going. Sanders.
Yeah, Josh Jacobs and Clyde Edwards-Helaire are both going after Joe Mixon and ADP. I would take both those guys. Even as a tier 1, I would take Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Josh Jacobs.
So yeah, Joe Mixon, it's risky because it's not because Joe Mixon's bad. It's because the Cincinnati offense is unproven, and so Joe Mixon, if somehow Joe Burrow goes in there and is
lights everything,
he doesn't even have to light everything up. He just has to be completely comfortable with the offense, playing like a decent quarterback. Then yes, Joe Mixon's going to do great.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it's kind of hard to do that year 1, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And also, Joe Mixon's had some run-ins with the law, so
yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Roger Goodell might come for his ass.
If Burrow, why it's risky to me is if Burrow can get that passing offense opened up, Joe Mixon's going to be money. I truly believe.
Because then
like
he'll be
red
part of the
zone,
passing game too. You know what I'm saying?
Mixon,
he has that type of ability.
Yeah, he definitely can be part of the passing game. I mean, he's a good PPR back, I would say. Especially if Burrow can get that offense rolling.
And it's really not hard to open up that offense too. You got your weapons out there. You just gotta hope that the offensive line holds you up and how smart of a quarterback you really are.
They have AJ Green. They re-signed him, franchise tag, whatever they did.
John Ross, they still have
Tyler Boyd,
T. Higgins.
Yep, they drafted T. Higgins, who I think is going to be very good.
Yep.
All right. To Neco. Lamar Jackson will end up with blank points than Pat Mahomes.
Less points.
All right.
I would agree. I would agree.
I think Pat Mahomes is gonna do better than Lamar Jackson just because superstar weapons is what you have out in Kansas City, and Lamar Jackson has pretty good weapons, but they're not compared, and including too. Pat Mahomes has a very good arm, and he's got legs.
I mean, you look at Mahomes. Consistency is what I see in Mahomes. Lamar, you don't know if he's going to be consistent. I mean, you look at what Cam Newton did when he bursted out into the running quarterback game. That didn't last very long.
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly.
Because people knew how to teams knew how to stop that the following year.
They study.
You look at Lamar Jackson. These defenses are going to study how to stop Lamar Jackson's running game. But the thing is, they have Mark Ingram. They just drafted Dobbins out of Ohio State.
Yeah.
Again, I hate saying that, but they have running threats. Gus Edwards. They probably have the best backfield in the entire league. So it is kind of hard to stop like an option offense. But
I'd probably say the best backfield is Browns.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Kareem Hunt and Chubb.
No, but I'm saying
good.
this with Lamar Jackson as a running, like in running.
Oh, okay. Like, yeah. Well, if you consider Lamar Jackson half quarterback, half running back, that's obviously the best backfield in the NFL.
Even if you take Lamar's running out of there,
that is
Mark
true.
Ingram, Dobbins, and Gus Edwards. I mean, I'm high on that Indianapolis Colts running game. But they have pretty good running backs too. But with Lamar's running ability, that's by far the best backfield in the entire league.
If Lamar Jackson, if defenses figure out Lamar Jackson like they have figured out other running quarterbacks, it's the same thing with Pat Mahomes. Yes, he can run, and he can run with the best of them, but he doesn't have to.
But you have to outscore Mahomes to beat the Chiefs. So.
Exactly, and so with Lamar, he's a good passer. He can sling the rock.
Yeah,
but
and even move into, which is pretty nice.
But he needs to move. He needs to run to open up his passing options, whereas Pat Mahomes does not, and that's why I think
he can chill in the pocket.
Yeah, Pat Mahomes will be a more successful fantasy quarterback this year.
And that's the thing too with Mahomes. He can really move and pass. Like
Yeah.
that's his specialty.
I mean,
That guy can look at Los Angeles and throw it to New England.
right.
All right. Jett, last one. The late round quarterback I'm most comfortable drafting is blank.
I'm gonna pull these up real quick because I'm gonna rank the. I'm gonna talk about the rankings.
So yeah, we're late round quarterback. We're saying
we'll
like
do
12,
12 to 20-ish, because like if you're in a 12-team league, say you're the last person to draft a starting quarterback, and maybe one or two teams have already drafted two, and so you're at about 12-ish to 20-ish.
Okay,
and
so
figuring out
if we're going 12 to 20, I'll list them off here. This is ESPN quarterback rankings. Rodgers is at 12. Daniel Jones is at 13. Stafford's at 14. Big Ben's at 15. Baker Mayfield at 16. Ryan Tannehill, Jared Goff, Joe Burrow, Drew Lock. That's 12 through 20. If I had to give the obvious choice here is Aaron Rodgers. He's just a vet, but we look at his weapons. I would go, I'm a Giants fan, Daniel Jones. I can't even do that. I think if I'm looking at this list, 12 through 20, my safest late round guy is Matthew Stafford. Unbiased.
I was gonna say that too. Unbiased.
Yep.
I think it's pretty safe to draft Matthew Stafford in
Too,
that late
too
round.
many weapons. It's probably the best weapons out of probably all the quarterbacks that you guys just said.
Yeah,
all around.
Probably the best weapon. I mean, maybe a couple
Baker
of these,
Mayfield. They got some pretty good weapons.
maybe a couple of these guys move up and Wentz and Breeze and Brady drop. Those are obvious steals, but I'm talking about safest. Those guys are already gone. Stafford's the safest.
Yeah, for sure. All right. We are going to get into the shit show of the day.
I don't even know the shit show.
Neco doesn't know the shit show today. So we just talked about the Lions, but we kind of talked about their players. This will be not fantasy relevant per se. Just earlier,
Okay, I know.
he knows now. He's made a revelation. Martha Ford is stepping down as the Lions owner. I guess you could say not stepping down, but just starting the transfer of power.
She's 94.
Yeah.
They've owned the team for 60 years. It's time for her to go.
Yeah.
It was time for her to go when William Clayford died. When she took over in 2014, she's been in the office for 6 years.
Yeah.
I think I'm hoping her daughter can do a
Isn't
hell of
it
a lot better job than she did.
Isn't it like Sophia Ford or something like that?
Sheila or something.
Oh.
Sheila Ford.
Something like that. Stays in the Ford family. They didn't sell the team. I've heard a lot of people.
Sheila, sell the team, please.
Saying sell the team. Neco.
I don't really care. Sell the team. Just win damn football games. Have a damn winning season. That's all I'm begging for. No matter who the GM is.
The way I still look at this is, I think Martha should have got rid of Bob Quinn a while ago, especially when he said 9-4 is not good enough with Jim Caldwell, and Matt Patricia has won 9 games in 2 seasons.
Yeah, that is true. But for a complete rebuild, you do got to give. I feel like for it to be fair, a coach 3 years and to see how your draft players that you've drafted and the team that you formed. Okay, this is the year that you prove yourself. You know what I'm saying? And this is the 3rd year. They are on their 3rd year through the 3 years that they've drafted, and they've pulled together a lot of defensive free agents.
Okay, Neco, question for you as a Dick Riding Lions fan.
Yes, sir.
If 9-12 wasn't good enough with Caldwell, why did they have to get rid of him to rebuild with Patricia? Why couldn't they have kept Caldwell and rebuilt the team?
I don't know. Just what's Jim Caldwell's resume like? Has he been like super far? Wasn't he with like Peyton Manning and all that stuff? I thought he was with the Colts.
I know he's in Indy now. Or was he before? He might have been.
He might have been.
He was in Baltimore before. I know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's a defense. He was an offensive guy.
I think. Yeah.
Might have just been because they know New England has like success. You know what I'm saying? They probably just thought like bringing Patricia on board could attract players, which it kind of has. We were able to. It's hard to attract players, and we were able to get a good DN and like Trey Flowers and stuff.
Yeah. And to be fair, Bob Quinn did come from New England's organization.
Yeah.
He brought in a guy he knew.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think Caldwell was there when Bob Quinn went to Detroit.
Yeah, I think so.
So maybe Bob Quinn wanted his guy, and he thought Patricia would do better. But I mean, I'm not saying the Lions aren't going to do better because they're bringing in expatriates, guys who are going to help them win football games. I believe mainly on the defensive
at least
side
understand their system. You know what I'm saying? Because they're kind of run a similar way as the Patriots do. And another thing about the 9-7 too, why they kind of fired him is because at that point that was kind of his year of like building up. You know what I'm saying? From his drafts, I felt a lot of people were leaving from the 9-7 team, so it's not like they're gonna be having the same team. So they were kind of on a rebuild anyways. So
and I mean, a lot of guys view this as Matt Patricia's a different type of coach. Like Darius Slay, when he left and went to Philly, when they traded him, he was like, you can't play. Like, Patricia coaches weird. Like, I think these guys come from New England. Like, they know how, like, Patricia's way.
The Patriot way.
Yeah, the Patriot way. Like, the Patriot way
stubborn. Like, you get everything right. You're going to be able to do this forward and backwards.
Well, I just think those guys.
Twice on Sunday.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? And Slay wasn't up for that. Like, there's players in the organization or that have just left, like, man, I wish I could think of the name right now, but they're like that we want to win games, so that's what we want. You know what I'm saying?
Slay, he just couldn't handle a couple guys. Like, I truly think that's why Glover Quinn retired so early, just because he couldn't handle like the new way of Detroit Lions football.
Yeah, I don't even know, but
we tossed that in the shit show because for years it's been a shit show. So
yeah.
This isn't the shit show of the day. This is the shit show of the decade.
The decade.
All right. Thanks for listening to the Fantasy Incline Podcast. Thanks, Jett, for coming on.
Thanks for having me again.
A second time.
Yes, sir. Thanks for coming.
Find us everywhere. Spotify, Apple Podcast, on YouTube if you want to see the videos. Thanks for watching. Peace.
Peace.